Okay, good morning, hello, welcome to this Get Ready With Me. My voice is a bit special. Yes, this is a My Little Pony mug. Really do love it. I have something in my eye. My voice is a bit weird because I was actually at my friend's, I'm gonna do Get Ready With Me. Not really gonna be chatting about the makeup, I'm gonna be chatting about other things. I'll put the details down below. You know, you can always find all of the details to all of my videos in my description box. I'm usually very good at filling out my description box. Oh, I have a My Little Pony t-shirt on as well. Honestly, who am I? This was actually kind of accidental. I like it. I don't even have a bra on. I should probably put a bra on, but you cannot see my wrists, okay? So we're fine. I was at a friend's dissertation party yesterday, and I don't even really drink. Like, I'm not like, I drink, but I don't like being drunk. So I did not drink that much, and I was definitely not drunk, and I am definitely not hungover, but I'm so tired. I go up at 5 in the morning. It's Saturday today. I go up at 5 in the morning every weekday, and then I went to bed yesterday at 3, maybe even 3:30, and well, you can by simple calculations see that I was up for a really long time yesterday, almost a full like 24 hours, and that's just not healthy, especially not when you're my age. It's like my body is like, oh yeah bitch, that's how you want to play it, now you get to sleep all day. So when I said good morning, it's actually 2:30. I don't want to talk about it. So it's actually pretty late. I have been up for like an hour though, but my body was like, you need to sleep. So I've been sleeping, which was pretty good though. My fiance went to work for a bit now, even though it's Saturday, because yeah, they had some lab work that they needed to get done. But my voice is really weird though. But the music level yesterday was so loud that I had to be screaming all the time, and I think my voice is just like, let's have a break. I asked you what you wanted me to talk about in the Get Ready With Me. Don't really know when this is coming up. Just know that I always pre-film a lot on my channel. If you're wondering sometimes why it feels like something might be filmed like a long time ago, that might be true, because sometimes I pre-film things like a week, 2 weeks, even 3-4 weeks in advance, just to have things to post, because sometimes lives get hectic and I can always film more some weeks and less some weeks. So I always try to pre-film a bit, so I don't really know when this is coming up, but I did ask you what you wanted me to talk about, and I got a lot of really good suggestions, although some of them were more like questions, so maybe I can even do like another Get Ready With Me asking, what are you talking about? Answering questions, because I got a lot of questions that I could like answer more, more like easy. I have had a pimple here, so I'm trying to cover it up. I don't really know why I got one there. I feel like I rarely get pimples, but when I do, like I get a spot in a weird place where other people don't get one. I'm like, what are you doing? Because I don't really get breakouts. It's also allergy season, and boy do I have pollen allergy. Wow. And that came with age. I did not have a pollen allergy until I was like 24, and then just hit me like a brick. It was like, here you go. And now I have such bad pollen allergy, especially some years, but usually only for like a couple of weeks and then I'm fine. But yeah, I'm borderline dying, and together with like not sleeping that good or being up late, yeah, I should probably be in bed sleeping. But that's not what I want to talk about. One of the things that I got a couple of questions about was actually like Sweden, like how it is living here, how it is working here, how it is studying here. I've gotten those kind of questions before as well, and also like if you were to visit Sweden, where you would go. But I think the visiting part is actually kind of hard, and I don't really think that a lot of people understand how big Sweden is, because I haven't been. I'm just taking a bit more foundation. I'm just gonna put some here, because I haven't been to all of Sweden. Like, Sweden is a big country. It's like if you were living in Detroit and I'm like, okay, so I'm going to US. What do you suggest? Like, okay, Sweden is not as big as US, but I mean, you understand. It's really hard to be very specific when it's a whole country, and I haven't even myself seen seeing the whole of the country. So I'm gonna talk a bit about in the beginning now, like how it is living in Sweden, because I did a video, and if you want to check that out, I will try to remember to leave it here, but I might forget. If I forget, remind me, and I'll put it up in the eye about like taxes, like money. We were talking about money, and I did mention in that video that I was paying, and I think a lot of people got confused by this. I was saying that from the money that because I run an own business, because I have to. In Sweden, I have to run an own business with the YouTube thing, because you do get AdSense, and in Sweden, you're not allowed to make like tax withdrawals of makeup on that, but you have to pay, like you have to have a business in Sweden, because you have to pay your taxes on everything again, and also in US, of course, or any other country that you're living in, you have to pay taxes on what you make on YouTube. And in Sweden, the tax laws are pretty strict, and I mean I know people that are Swedish that have YouTube channels that are not doing what they should be doing. I would never call them out, of course, but I'm just saying that for me, I needed to have a business so that I can fix everything. And in Sweden, the taxes, if you are an employee, like if you're employed, are pretty low. Like they're like 20 something. They're pretty low. They're like below 30. So the money that I make in my normal day job, which is like my main income, YouTube is not my main income. The money that I make in my normal day job, I pay under 30% in taxes, which is pretty good. Sweden is not the country in the world that has the most taxes if you're employed. Actually, US has higher taxes than Sweden when it comes to being employed. So I'm just saying that our taxes aren't that bad. But if you are self-employed, or if you have a company, the money you pay on your employees, which I mean, I'm self-employed, is more. So the money that I make in my company, I pay 51% taxes. And that's basically to cover a lot of the, like, because we have free healthcare in Sweden, and we have free schools and free universities and free meals in school. Like there's a lot of things that we have, and I thought that I would talk a bit about that, like what you get from your taxes and how it is to live in Sweden. But just know that if you are not running your own business, or if you do not have employers, or if you're not an employee, is that how you say it? The tax is actually pretty low. It's below 30. Our taxes are pretty okay in Sweden. But like living in Sweden, first of all, Sweden have very distinct seasons. And that has nothing to do like with money or anything, of course, but our seasons are very distinct. We have spring, summer, autumn, and winter, and all of them are pretty different. The main thing is that we are so far north on the globe, seeing on the map, of course. I mean, who knows what's up and down in the universe, but seeing on a map, we're so far up north, and we are in where the axis tilts a bit. So during half of the year in the winter, we almost get no sun, and that's why we have a really cold winter, and that's why it's really dark here. I'm just gonna have a little bit more here. Really dark here during the winter. So in the winter time, it is the darkest in December, and it is the lightest in June. So we are coming into the lightest part of the year now, and sometimes, well, not sometimes, but in December when it's darkest, the sun will go up at like 10 in the morning, and then it will set again after 2 in the afternoon. So it's really dark most of the day, and it never gets like super bright because the sun doesn't go as high. Like, I don't want to get all technical on you, but I hope you understand what I mean. We have very distinct like seasons, and I have to say, this is something that I thought about. I saw I'm almost out of my Laura Mercier powder. This powder, if you're like wanting bang for your buck, it's expensive powder, but there is so much powder in this product that I actually think that like it could be worth it. Should I do my brows first? I'm gonna do my brows first before I go in with powder, I think, and then we can talk about the rest. Because I want to talk about the video that I saw from Nyqvist, where she was, I can't speak, where she was talking about like her life goals and like what makes you happy and where you want to go in life, and that ties together with our seasons. Let me do my brows. I have a brow routine, and every time I have a get ready with me and I don't do my brows on video, I always leave my brow routine down below, because that is how I do my brows every day. Sometimes they turn out better, sometimes they turn out worse. I'm hoping today is let's hope today is a better day, but I will leave the brow routine down below if you want to see how I do my brows, because I do my brows exactly like I do in that routine. It is pretty new. I think it's filmed this year even. So I'll leave that down below, do my brows, and we can talk about more things. Wow, I need more coffee. This is not enough. Okay. Okay, I did put some powder. Oh wait, I see something, like something fuzzy in my eye. Raw Beauty Christy did a video basically like talking about like what was her goal in life and like what makes her happy and what would she like to do. And I could do a separate video on this, but I just related to like how Sweden is and how like how our climate is. I use the eye primer by Sigma, these pens. So good, so good. I love this. I love this. Love this. I don't want to use anything else ever again. And I started thinking like, what makes me happy? I am not on the Swedish theme anymore. Oop, mirror. And I have to say that something that makes me happy is good weather and when Sweden gets back to being lighter again. And I think that my life goal has got to be to live somewhere where it's not so dark and not so cold, at least for a while in my life. So that is like my new life goal, because I have to say that it does affect me. It does affect me. But yeah, that is like the worst part of Sweden, the climate and how dark it is in the autumn and winter, because yeah, that shit gets to me. It really does. But like I said, in Sweden, you do get a lot of things for your taxes. And how it is living in Sweden, I think like, first of all, most people go to daycare, like kids. When you're young, you're in daycare, some kind of daycare, because here both parents work. It is very unusual for the mom to not work. And I think the big difference is that daycare is pretty affordable here in Sweden. It is of course subventionerad, sub, I don't know what it's called. Like the state is paying some of it. So having your kids in daycare, I know that in US, for example, it could cost you like $1,000 a month if you're unlucky, which of course prevents the mom to, or at least one of the parents, usually it's the mom, which is pretty sucky, to go back to work after having a kid, because the paycheck would only cover like the daycare, so why not just stay home with the kid? I get that. In Sweden, it's more like $100 a month, around there, maybe 150. So obviously, having your kids in daycare and having them socialize with other kids, because that's also a big part of like evolving as a kid, both with like how you socialize and how you speak. Like your language comes a lot from talking with other kids when you are a kid. So most kids are in daycare from the age of like 1, 2, 3. And then the mom goes back to work, and of course we have parental leave here in Sweden. I don't want to call it, I don't know what you would say, but you do get like days off when you have a kid, both the mom and the dad, and you can split the days in between you. Usually in Sweden the mom takes most of the days, but that has becoming to change here as well, where the mom and dad would maybe split the days, so both the mom and the dad can be home with the kid before the kid goes into daycare. It's, like I said, very unusual for not both parents to be working, or at least wanting to work. Of course you can be unemployed or in between jobs, but to be a stay-at-home mom, very unusual in Sweden. And I don't want to say looked down upon, but people will question it, like, why aren't you working? Because there's nothing stopping you from working. Everyone has the right to have daycare in Sweden. Everyone could afford it because it is that inexpensive. You also get like money from the state every month just for having a kid. I think it's around $100. You do get $100 per kid, and if you have 2 kids you get a bit more, and if you have 3 kids you get a bit more. So you get like $100 per kid, and then you get a bit more because we call it several kid pay. Like if you have more kids you have more expenses. So you do get money from the state as well just for having a kid, because of course raising kids is it's expensive. It's really expensive, and Sweden is an expensive country. I'm not even gonna try and sugarcoat that. Sweden is an expensive country. But most people do have their kids in daycare, and then when you're 6, you're going into the school system. The first year is not really an educational year though. It's more of a getting used to being in school, and you do have some hours a day where you are like getting taught things like counting and reading and stuff like that, but you're not really in school. You're in it's called preschool, but it's like 1 year of preschool, and you have to be in preschool. You do not have to be in daycare, but you have to be in preschool when you start, like when you're 6. That is like mandatory. Also, it's mandatory to be in school. You're not allowed to homeschool in Sweden. So when you're 6, you are going into the school system. Every kid is. You're not allowed to homeschool in Sweden, which I think is a good thing. I think that's a good thing. And I'm sorry if you were homeschooled or if you think that that's a good thing, but I think a big part of your personal growth and just understanding society and understanding other people is tied to being around other people. So I actually think that that's pretty good. So everybody goes to school. In Sweden, every school is free from, I guess then from them being 6. I think it's free from 6. I don't know for sure it's free. Yeah, it should be free from 6 because it's mandatory. Everything that's mandatory is like free. So it's free to go to school all the way up to university and through university. Every education in Sweden is free. I'm gonna use this scene from space from Lovelock's Beauty. I was really craving using this heliocentric. It's such a beautiful shade. So no matter how high of an education you want to get in Sweden, you don't have to pay for it. So I didn't pay for my degree, like university degree. It's free. So when Swedes are talking about, look at that. When Swedes are talking about student loans, it's a different kind of loan. It's when you are, since it's free to go to school in Sweden, even higher education, you can take a loan that will cover your living expenses while you're in school, so that you can focus on being in school, so that you don't have to have a job and be at school, basically, because school is full-time. And if you've ever been to university, you know that being at the uni it's full-time. You don't really want to have time for anything else. So you can take a loan from the state, basically covering living expenses while you're in school, so that you can focus on school. And that is a loan that's at very low interest. Most people spend bigger times of their life paying off this loan afterwards, but it's like people in Sweden see it as an investment. You are investing in your future so that you can get a good education, and then when you have a job, it's very easy to pay off this loan. I'm still paying off my student loan, and I will for, I think, another, well, more than 10 years, I think. And that is fine because the interest is very low, so it's very beneficial loan to get. So most people that go to university in Sweden do take that kind of student loan to be able to focus only on school and not have to devote your time to doing other things as well. And I don't have a problem having a loan like that. That is the only loan I really actually have. So I don't mind that, and I don't mind spending time like paying back on that loan because the interest is very low. I pay like $100 a month, I think, on that loan, and I don't mind it at all. I'm gonna use a mix of these two palettes today. It's the Color Splurge and the Magnifique from Labelle. The Color Splurge, cannot speak, looks like this. It's a very, more of a muted rainbow palette, almost a bit neon-y and somewhere a bit muted. And then it's the Magnifique palette. Wait, let me get the plastic out. It looks like this. This one has a mirror. So I also got, because I did get some PR from Glossier Sweden. So I did get one of these glitter jellies. So I thought also a pen and a lipstick. So I thought I'd be using those. And they are a bit burgundy pink. So maybe I should try and do a bit of a burgundy pink moment to not make this too weird. Although I'm not against weird, but maybe I can like try to not be too weird. You know? I think I'm gonna start with the zest here, but I'm just gonna go in. I'm just gonna go in. I'll start with the yellow just to have something in the crease. So most people do have like a student loan like that, and of course that the free schools, the free education, a lot of like tax money obviously goes to that because it doesn't matter from which part of society you are from, money will never be the factor at what kind of education you can get. And that's basically also means that Sweden is actually, if not the most, the easiest. I've seen lists on this, and last time I saw it, Sweden was at the top. The country in the world where most people do a class trip, like a class travel. But in Sweden we say travel between classes. Like if you are born in a family that's considered poor in Sweden, because we do have some poverty, of course, still not, maybe you don't have to be like homeless to be considered poor. I hope you'll see that. You can still, if you want to, have a higher education, and you and your family could be considered well off. And I realized that in a lot of countries that is really hard, because if you are born into a poor family, they will not be able to afford education for you. But in Sweden, education is free, so it's more up to you. Of course, other things play in as well. Other circumstances play into having a successful like education and stuff, but at least your parents don't have to pay for your education. And I actually do think that free education and free healthcare is like the best thing in Sweden. So yeah, we do have free healthcare as well. And saying that it's free, like we still have, if I go to the doctor, I still have to pay fee. It's like a startup fee, but it's like $20, so it's not really that bad. It's basically just preventing people from not going to see the doctor, like going to see the doctor when they don't need to. So it's something, you know, an incentive for people to stay at home if they really don't need to see a doctor. Otherwise, you know, people would flood the healthcare with all kinds of things that maybe they could sort at home. I mean, healthcare should be for people that actually need it. And then there is a higher threshold, and if you reach that higher threshold, everything is free for the next, like the rest of the year. The same with medication, like there is a higher threshold, so if you have a lot of medication that you need, you will pay for it up until the threshold, and then the rest of the medication for the whole of the year is free. Basically meaning that if you have a disease or a condition where you have to be at the doctor a lot, or if you have to have a lot of medication, you will pretty soon reach that threshold, the higher threshold, and that is not that high, to be honest, and then the rest of the year is free. That's just a way to prevent people from going to the hospital or going to a doctor when they don't need it, and also preventing people that really needs to go to a doctor and needs a lot of medication to not overpay. So it's a good system, and I really like it. What's not free in Sweden though is dental. That is not free in Sweden. I know a lot of people want it to be free in Sweden. It's a big discussion in Sweden. Dental in Sweden is free up until the year you're 21, I think, and then you have to pay for dental. It's really expensive to go to the dentist in Sweden. I know that they have been getting some kind of money off for it, but I really don't exactly know how that works, so I don't really want to get into like speaking about it, because I really don't really know, really. So I don't want to talk too much about it because I'm not sure. Ooh, I went into the plum from the Color Splurge palette, and that was, oops, a lot. So I don't really want to talk about like how that works now, because I am actually not entirely sure. But I do like that we have, I do like that we have free healthcare, because no matter what kind of disease I have, they cannot be like, yeah, that's gonna cost too much, you can't have help, or you can't afford to get help. No matter how well off or how little money you make, if you get a disease that will cost you a lot of money, like cancer, for example, the state cannot refuse you. They have to pay for your treatment, no matter how much treatment you need. I like that. I really do. Because how healthy you are shouldn't be, or how much help you get, or how good help you get, shouldn't be determined by how much money you make or how rich your family is. Like, that's stupid, and I just don't believe in that. And most countries that are rich countries do have free healthcare. Most countries in Europe have free healthcare, and I think that it's actually one of the factors for having a balanced and healthy population, is to offer them to at least go to the doctor without ruining them when they are sick. And I do think that in the long run that is a good thing to offer. We talked a bit about like maternity leave, or like parental leave as we would call it in Sweden, because it's both the mom and the dad. And in Sweden you get, I think it's up until like, so sorry about that, like I said, my allergies are killing me. I think you get up about like 400 parental leave days, like paid days. That is a lot. I know in some countries you get like 2 weeks. In Sweden you get more than a year. So you are able to stay home with your kid and be away from work and still then go back to work, because they can't fire you in Sweden for being pregnant. I know in some countries, I mean, it's wild in some countries, and I some things just confuse me. But in Sweden, if you are pregnant, basically you work normally up until you have a couple of weeks or a month left before labor. It depends on what kind of work you have. And then you're off work for quite some bit until your kid can go to daycare, and then you normally, most people go back to their work, the work they had before. And that's how it usually works here in Sweden. I don't really know how it works in other countries. I know that a lot of people choose to leave their job when they get pregnant because they are not able to take a long break like that, and they're not able to afford daycare. And that's just, it's a shame. It's a shame that that's how it is. I feel like a big part of equality is being able to offer people to come back to work after having a kid, because yeah, that personal opinion. Also in Sweden, and I don't really know how this is in other countries, so you have to fill me in, but if you are unemployed in Sweden, or if you are sick in Sweden, you do get money from the state, so that you will not go under. That's also what some of the tax money will go to, so that you do not go under if you are sick or if you are unemployed. And you can always like join a union, and you can get more money if you were part of the union when you were working, which is a good safety. But even if you're not part of a union, you will always get some money when you're unemployed from the state, and that is like, it's not a lot of money, but it's enough to be able to not live on the streets. And that is a good safety net, so that you are not going under if you for some reason do not have a job anymore, or if you have to leave a job, or if you get sick. Because if you get sick so that you cannot work, your boss will pay your sick leave from work for the first week that you are from work, and then if you are sick for longer than that, you have to show papers from the doctor basically showing that you actually are sick, and then the state will go in and pay more money. But I mean, your employer cannot fire you for being sick for a really long time. You're not allowed to, and they are not allowed to not pay you. But of course, if you're always sick, there are different exceptions. There are also people that if you do not have an employment and you still get sick, you will still get money from the state, like nobody is left behind. And I really like paying taxes because of this. Obviously, there are people using this system. I have known people in my life, I know people now that are getting paid from the state, but maybe shouldn't. And that is, of course, pretty irresponsible to take tax money that could go to someone that needed it more just because you are lazy. Don't like that. Of course, not everyone, but it happens. And to be fair, I mean, it's how it is. And I at the end of the day, does it really matter? Maybe not. At least we're helping those who need to be helped, and yeah. But I mean, I know people that get money from the state because they can't work, and then but it's more like they don't want to work with what they're working with. So they get money from the state, and like maybe they have been sick, but they're not sick anymore. And maybe the problem is that they got sick working with what they were working with, and maybe instead of being at home getting money, they should have gotten help to work with something else. And some people, even when they are home, discover something else that they rather would be working on, and they make money off that, but not have to give money back to the state, or to not have to stop receiving money from the state. They take the money that they're making when they're home being sick, and they don't pay taxes for it. And that is something I loathe. I don't like that, because that actually means that you are taking money from the state when you shouldn't, and you are not paying taxes on those money. So you're actually receiving money that you shouldn't be receiving, but you're not like contributing to the rest of society. And I do think that that is actually, I don't like that. I really think that everyone should be contributing if they can, especially when we have a good society like we have, where we are having each other's back and helping each other. It's really shitty and egoistic to receive help when you can, but then when you no longer need it, you still accept it, and then you won't contribute with taxes yourself. That's really shitty. I don't like that. I don't like people that don't pay tax when we have such a good country where the taxes actually go to something good. And I know that people will disagree with me, but that is my personal opinion. It really is. And if you don't want to pay taxes, that's fine, but then maybe you shouldn't be enjoying the benefits the tax money gets you. Does this make sense? This became a bit dark. But yeah, those are the things that I think is the best with Sweden, is that if you lose your job, if you get pregnant, if you want to quit your job because it's awful, or if you get sick, you're not left like just like that. You have something helping you, have a system helping you, so that you don't have to like go under if unexpected change comes into your life. And I like that. That's the best part of Sweden. And also that we have free education and free healthcare, so that you are the master of your own destiny, not the kind of money that you were born into. And I really like that. I'm gonna use this gel that I just had and then lost from, where did I put it? Oh, here it is. It's the Play. This is called the Glitter Jelly in Phantasm from like Play, Glossier Play. And I got a little rubber spatula like this, and this is actually really, really pretty. Like really pretty. Really pretty. So maybe I'll need to put something on my lid before I go in with this. I don't really know what. Maybe I should just put a bit of... Do I want to have the pink, or do I want to have the lavender? Maybe I'll have the pink because I have some yellow in my crease. I'm just going to put a bit... Oh, that's really pretty actually. That's really pretty. I'm just going to put a bit on my lid. That is really intensely pretty. I'm so happy they put that pink in, although I do have a bit of fallout under my eyes. Do I look a bit pink under my eyes? Maybe. So I'm going to use this Glossier Play Glitter Jelly, and then I'm gonna... What do I want to do? I don't really know. Do I want to have eyeliner? Oh, this is so squishy. I don't really know how I'm supposed to do this. Where do I want to have it? In the middle? Or just... Oh my god, this is so weird. Do I know what I'm doing? Not really. Should I be zooming in? Wait, let me restart this and I'll zoom in and we can look at this a bit close up. Okay, so I put the autofocus on so that we can see a bit. Do I want to have a bit in my inner corners as well? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just putting this on. It's pretty cool though. I will say that this little wand is not really making it easy. It's pretty cool though. But yeah, I don't know about this wand. Is this the best way? Maybe. Oh wait, cluster. Cluster. I think it's really pretty, but I don't know. This was really like, these are so big, these particles, so I probably shouldn't have put them in my like little folds. But that's where they are now. I want to have a bit here. I'm just gonna keep my eyes closed for a bit and let this, I don't know, dry down a bit, and I'll zoom back out and we can do some eyeliner and some lips. So let me just make this dry so I'm sure it's not really all over the place. Okay, I think that maybe my eyes are a bit too foldy to have something like this high, but I do like it. And so far it hasn't creased, but I feel like it could. I feel like it could. I did get one of these color slides in Magic Carpet as well. It's like I might just sweat it to get this off. Oh my god! Oh god, okay. Magic carpet, magic carpet. I'm gonna put that in my waterline. It is a nice burgundy. It's gonna go with this look. Don't know if I'm that impressed with this pencil though. Not that, it's not like scratchy, but I don't feel like a lot is like really sticking to my waterline. The color is pretty though. It could also be because it's a little bit metallic. That could be maybe it. I'm not the biggest fan of like more metallic pencils like this. I like when they're not metallic. How do I feel about this? Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay. Okay, let me talk also a bit. I don't know if I've been talking about things that I should have been talking about in this video. This coffee is going to be cold. Maybe not. But here we are. It's so hard sometimes to know what you're supposed to be talking about and know if you're like talking about the right things, because usually you aren't. Usually you aren't. And we all have different opinions, and especially when it comes to society and tax money and what people think is a good way to spend tax money and what other people think not is a good, like what I think could be the opposite of what you think. But it's all like personal preference. And also maybe one of you watching this could be a person that maybe are living out of money from the state that shouldn't. Then I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You do you. I don't mind paying taxes for you as well. It's okay. It's okay. I'm just saying how I feel. But when it comes, like, I get questions sometimes when people are like, I'm thinking about going to Sweden, what should I see? Listen, Sweden is big. It's really hard for me. Stop it. It's really hard for me to say like what I think that you should see in Sweden, because that could be so different. Like, our opinions on what's worth seeing could be so different. And also there are things in Sweden that I probably should see, like tourist attractions that I haven't seen. I will say though that go to unless you are a big winter sports person, there are a lot of like winter like skiing resorts where you can go and ski in Sweden in the winter. Maybe you'll love that. Maybe you'll think that that is amazing. I'm personally not a big winter person, and if you are like me and think that cold and like darkness is not that fun, I would recommend you coming here in the summer. I would even stretch it as far as to say to come here in like June, because I think that June is a good, also Midsummer's is in June. June is a good like time to visit Sweden, to be honest. It's very light, it's usually pretty warm, although it never gets like super warm here. Although last summer was super warm in Sweden, we had all those forest fires, but that is unusual. We had like 20 Celsius plus, and that's nice, but I mean, you don't go here to have like a beach vacation. It's really gambling. But I mean, nature is beautiful in Sweden. Stockholm is a beautiful city. Gothenburg is a beautiful city. I've heard that Malmö is really great too. But I haven't really spent that much time in Malmö. We have a nice amusement park in Gothenburg, and we have an amusement park in Stockholm as well. I don't think it's as good as the one in Gothenburg. If you like nature, there's a lot of places where you could go, like in Sweden. We have a lot of different kinds of nature in Sweden, so it depends on what you want to see. Sweden has a lot of like pine forests, especially where I come from in Sweden, Värmland. That is really pretty. I mean, nature is beautiful in Sweden, but there's a lot of different places where you could go. Just know that Sweden is expensive, so expensive, and it's expensive to live here. Like, if you go as a tourist, it's really expensive, and you probably would want to bring like some extra money to, because I wouldn't go to Sweden to shop. I mean, I don't even want to shop here myself because it's so expensive. So I think it's more like experiencing things. And you can eat really good food in Sweden as well. We don't really have a very wide food culture in Sweden, but we are really open and accepting to other food cultures and making them Swedish. So you can eat really cool food in Sweden, but that's also really expensive. So I would say, like, if you are going to Sweden on a vacation, just know that you will spend money here, whether you like it or not. I just feel very ready myself. I've been living in Linköping. I live in Linköping in Sweden. Linköping is, I think, I think, don't quote me on this. I think it's the 5th biggest city in Sweden, but that's not really big because the cities here aren't that big. I'm trying to get rid of some stuff here. I'm gonna use this Glossier Play Phenolic Lip. That's a weird name. This is in Blow Up. And I'm also gonna put on some lashes. It's not a really big city. I think it's like 120,000 people live here. And I've lived here for 10 years now. I'm not from this city, but I lived here for 10 years and I feel very ready to just live somewhere else. I really do. And we are planning... Oh, there you go. We are planning... That's very pink. It's like a warmer, more grown-up Barbie. Like a very pink. We are planning to move next year. That is our plan, because we are both ready to live somewhere else. I think that, I don't know if Ricardo's lived here for 10 years, but he might have. He lived in Vienna for a year though, because he took his second master's there. So we're just ready to live somewhere else. We haven't really decided where. He wants to do his postdoc abroad, so maybe we'll do that. And I'll just tag along because I'm ready to do something else. I'm the kind of person that's not afraid of change. I actually think that change is one of the most amazing things there are. I'm always excited about change. I know a lot of people are the opposite, but I love change. Let me just fix this and get the lashes on and we can finish this up. And maybe I should change my shirt, or maybe not. Do I need a bra? Maybe. And this. Yeah, give me one sec. Okay, so the lashes are on. These were the Stella Luxe. I really like these, and I really like these when I don't have a liner as well. I think that these look really nice. I still didn't change this or put on a bra. But we're friends. It's okay, right? It's okay. I really like this lippy though. The color is really pretty, like a warm pink, but it's like a balm. It's so comfortable. I could totally see myself getting more of these. This is delightful. I love it. I think that was everything I wanted to talk about. I don't know if I don't know. I think that these, like, a lot of people love filming the get ready with me chit-chatty ones, but I feel like I never say the right things. Do I say the right... Is this interesting? Am I interesting? Don't open that door. But I hope you liked it anyways, and I'm sorry for my energy being... No, I'm not really sorry, but sometimes your energy is a bit low, but you still want to film. I'm just tired, that's all. And I know that it's like, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you're always happy and perky when you're doing YouTube videos, it's like, it's so fake, you're never real. YouTubers aren't showing who they really are. And then when we're showing who we really are, that's not good either. So you can't win. You just can't win. But I hope you liked it. I really hope you liked it. I'm gonna go sit in the couch for a bit and then I'm gonna film another video. I really do like this makeup though. I think it's cool. I think I liked everything I used today. Did I? Did I like everything I used today? Maybe the pencil in the waterline, I would have liked it more if it wasn't metallic, because I think it would have been more pigmented. Other than that, I think I liked everything. That will be everything for this video. I will see you in my next one. Can you see how cool this is? And I don't know if it's tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. It's either of those two alternatives, and I will see you then. Bye!